Wow, there's like nobody on. Oh, 10 people. Hi guys. I'm going to be modeling stuff for the next half hour, and I figured, oh, let's just stream it. Why not? Does this thing work? Can you guys hear me? Test. We'll see. Hey, somebody run the stream and see if you can hear me. Because, of course, I can never seem to get my microphone working on this first try. I'm a professional, right? Oh, great. Thanks, Kyle. And Stephanie. Okay, so, yeah, like I said, I'm just going to model for the next half hour, and then I have to get on a call. But this is, you guys remember the bed icon that we had? This is the model for the bed icon. You got your t-shirt. Alright. Glad to hear it. Slems Vamp. Yeah, and my webcam is not plugged in, so sorry, no webcam for you guys this time. But you're not missing much. Trust me. Okay. This guy needs to be 1 voxel thinner because he needs to be centered or centerable. So yeah, what's going on nowadays? These days is we are all sort of cranking away at different parts of the system, which is neat. So we're making progress across multiple axes, or in multiple categories at once. And my job is to model all of the items that the Carpenter is going to be able to make. Optimize size. There we go. Okay, now it is centered. So now we are happy. This is a bed. This is like tier 0 bed. We did the icon for this guy a couple of streams back. So I'm just like making sure that he's right all the way around. Now I'll move on to the next item, and the next item, and the next item, and you guys will see them one by one. What the heck? Are you already familiar with the new office? Familiar with, like, biblically? Yeah, the new office needs work. I mean, it's one of those things like where we want to, like, you know, make it nice and homey and cool, but we also have to work on the game, and so it'll come along. We'll improve it bit by bit, probably for the next like 3 months or something like that. Okay, so that's pretty good. That's not much of a bed. That's what we call it, actually. Not much of a bed. Tier 0 bed. Looks good. Let me resize my window so that I don't... There. Now I will not accidentally take things off of the screen from you guys. Okay, so we're going to save this as... Uh-oh. Please tell me I didn't just overwrite something. I don't think I did. Okay, so that's the bed, and now we need the iconic version of the bed. Right? Right. So to do that, we need to resize this guy. Here, well, look, I'll copy this. Open. Open. Don't save. Not much of a bed icon. So, oh yeah, hey, great, look, I already have the other bed icon. So, you guys will remember that, or I'm just reminding you in case you don't remember actually, big items like beds and dressers and anything that's like really big has 2 forms. One is the normal form, and the other one is the iconic form. And the iconic form is how you would look at these things when they're like not, when they're in a stockpile after they've been crafted, or before you like say, hey, put this bed or whatever in this room. And the reason why we do that is to make the job of animating like, about 50 times easier. So we don't have to deal with like one guy hauling around like this ridiculously huge bed or deal with coordinating the AIs to have like 5 people carry it or whatever. That would just be like a lot of work for a tiny little benefit. And so people carry around these icons to their final destinations, and then they'll go plop, put them down, and poof, it'll like sort of rehydrate into its full size. And we actually got that working. Stephanie got that working in the like in game for the very first time, like yesterday. And we thought that it might look a little weird, but it doesn't. It makes sense, which is always good. All right. And the icons are not going to be like super elaborate or super like I know what I'm missing. They're not going to be like these super ornate, beautiful works of art. They're icons, so they're not going to have a lot of detail. The idea is that you should be able to quickly see like what is this thing when there are like 20 of them or a matrix of like, you know, dozens lying around in your stockpile. We want you to be able to look at your stockpile and actually get a feel for like what's in there. So I'm just like, whatever, adding a little bit of detail to make this straw look strawy and not just like a pillow. You know, just add a little bit of variety there. Okay, that's probably good enough, right? Okay, so there's the bed. Here's the bed's icon, right? Good. Now we need to save it. Wait, maybe I should like knock off that. Yeah, that's better. Knock off the sides. Yeah, okay, great. So, export as a QB. Really? QB. Not much of a good icon.qb. That's what I want. Okay, so now I need to export the other one. The full-sized one as a QB. File, export. Not much of a bed, but not the icon. Okay. Alright. That's that. Next. Picket fence. Okay. So this is the fun part. Oops. Let's find my picket fence icon, which is like in... Alright. Somebody in the office, remind me when it's 5 to 4, please. 5 to 4. Wait. Hold on. I have a phone. I can set an alarm. This is amazing. 3:55. Technology. PM. Go. Alright. So what was I doing? Picket fence. Right, so let's... Nope. Dropbox. Radiant. Assets. Voxels. You see, I've got a lot of stuff. Wooden furniture. So this is like kind of my scratch pad of all the wooden stuff that... Actually, that's not the right one. That's an old one. This is my... That's not it either. Yeah. Well, wait, kind of. Huh. Somewhere around here, I've got like... Craftsman? There it is. Okay, this is my scratch pad of all the stuff that the Carpenter can produce. Not all of it, but a lot of it. So next is the fence. So I grab the fence, make a new document. Okay, so here we go. So how big is this thing? I want it to be 2 voxels wide, which is 20, because we have a 10:1 scale. So this thing right now is 24. That's not going to cut it. So I'm going to have to mess with this thing. And I want it to be tileable. So resize to be 20. Should it be 20? Maybe it should be 10. No, it should be 20. Okay, that'll work. And for it to be tileable, it should not have these two upright posts. It should have one. And that post should probably be in the middle. And actually this thing is like way too detailed. Like these sort of, it's got probably like 6 browns, which is like not happening. Not good. We'll have to simplify this a lot. And that's kind of what I found is like, I go back and look at my old work and it's like, what was I thinking? But whatever. That just means I'm improving, so it makes me feel pretty good. So that's a fence post, right? I kind of like having the edges, the 4 corners of the pole in the middle be like a slightly different color. Like that to me looks good, so I'm going to keep it. But I'm just simplifying the browns here. They're like way too many browns. Sorry you guys can't see my pencil cursor. I still haven't figured out why that happens. But then simplify this. Okay, so great. Now, so this was our original, and that's like done. But now, when I move these suckers around, or say like you're putting down a bunch of fence, right? They will tile correctly. Right, great. Whereas if I, left it like this, it's not going to tile correctly. You can probably tell by now, but I'll just do it, right? So that looks weird, right? We still have a problem, which we're probably just going to have to fix in code. Like if you wanted to make like a box, like what do we do there in the corner? We're going to have another mesh. So that'll be fun. We'll figure it out. Actually, now that I look at this tiled, I don't like these vertical bands on the post. I said I like them, but I'm changing my mind. Yeah, there. Okay, easy. Now we save this as... I'm just going down the list, man. Picket fence. And let's export it as long as we're here. Export picket fence in QB. Here, let's make this thing smaller so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Wrong folder. One thing that I don't like about Cubicle Constructor is that it has like sort of a set export path, and it keeps that export path the same until you export somewhere else. I wish it would default to the current directory. So we got our QB and our QMO, and now we need the icon. Let's see if I have the icon in here. I do. It's right there. New. Don't say paste. And this guy is our right size. So all icons are like 10. In Cubicle Constructor, they're 10 by 10 by 10, which for us translates to fits on a voxel. So I'm just going to come in here and make the same kind of changes that I made before. Actually, I'm going to make like... I'm going to leave this icon the same. I'm not going to make it match exactly, because it'll look better when the little guys... your dude is going to be carrying this thing. If the post was in the middle, it would look a little weird. When they're on the edges, it gives them something to hang on to. So I'm just going to leave this like this. I'm happy with it. So, save as. This is our picket fence icon. And export all. Picket fence. So if you guys want to add items like in a mod, you will have to specify, well, it depends on the kind of item. But if it's like a big item, something that isn't naturally small, in like 10 by 10 by 10, or that would fit within a voxel, you'll need to specify the big object, the real object, and then one of these icon files. and then like a text file describing the name of the thing, stuff like that. Alright, I haven't checked chat. What are you guys talking about? Not much. Corner piece, yeah, there'll be a corner piece, but I don't know how to wire it up in code yet. I've got to think about it. Probably get a consult from Tony, so I'm not going to bother making the corner piece yet. I could, but you know, whatever. Not necessary yet, so I'm going to move on to things that would be in the game. The gate, picket fence gate, so you guys can kind of see the icon as I go through Explorer. So let's grab the gate. The gate is going to be tricky. This is going to have to be placeholder too, but I'll just go ahead and do it. Because the gate, of course, should have multiple parts, and it should animate. And actually, I guess I could cut it up now. I know it's going to have to be cut up eventually. So what size is this? So a person is roughly 3 voxels wide, so this has to be at least that, and I think it is, which would be 30. And I can see right now it is 40 wide, so that's good. I like that. So, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did before, where, I don't know if you can see it. Sorry if you can't. I'm just going to simplify the colors, because I'm just doing flood fill, because some of the browns were just out of control. Just too many shades of brown. It's like, come on. How many shades of brown do you think the eye can perceive? Oh, and by the way, this stuff matters, this simplification I'm doing. Because the way we transform these voxel things into a mesh, we collapse like polygons. So you can see, like, you know, there are lots of flat planes, like these posts are made up of like probably 20 voxels by 4 voxels. So like this face of this post gets simplified down. Well, I hope you see what I'm trying to get at. The front face of that post gets simplified down to just 2 polygons, but it's by color. So if you have lots of like smooth, super smooth, gorgeous color gradients in your voxel file, it's going to produce many more triangles in the final mesh, and if you have a lot of those on the screen at once, it's going to not be great. So there are lots of reasons to simplify. Okay, so that's good. That's the fence. Let's chop them up. First, I'll drag one off to the side, and then let's see. We're going to have the posts, which don't move. That's one. Oops. Come here. And then we've got one side of the gate, which will move. And the other side of the gate, which will move. So I need a different matrix, or part, for every piece that'll move. And then later, I'll hook up like where the pivot points of each one is, and we'll do some animations for swing open the gate, close the gate, whatever. And now we need to move all this to the origin, center it on the origin, just like that. Ta-da! There's our fence. Save as picket fence gate. And export it along the way. So like here, so watch, I'm going to like export all. I want to export in the same directory. No, it doesn't want to. It wants to export in the old directory. It's okay. It's just an annoyance, and you have to be wary of it. Or you'll be spewing files all over the place, and you'll wonder, like, what's going on? Okay. So let's go back, and do I have an icon for this? I should. Oh, really? I was lazy. I didn't make an icon. Yeah, there it is. It was hiding. See, there he is. Paste. Okay, now this one obviously doesn't need to animate because it's just like the iconic form that people use like when they're carrying around the fence. So we can just do that. And that's that. So save picket fence gate icon and export the QP. Fence gate icon. Ta-da! That's good. Would it look odd if he carries the 2 fence posts, but it only places 1 post? It might. It might aprod. If it does, then we'll change it. It's like, yeah. You're right, it might. We'll find out. Alright, what's next? We've done the gate. Cot. Right, so the cot is kind of redundant with the bed, isn't it? I think I'm going to skip the cot. I think the cot's not long for this Earth. It's probably going to leave the game. So, because we got this cot, and you can see the icon here, right? Here, I'll do this. Not the icon, the portrait, right? Can we make it bigger? Oh, we can just make it bigger. There. That's better. So we got this thing, which is like a cot, and it's just like a, it's got a straw pillow. It's kind of cute, right? But I think not much of a bed is cuter, right? This thing, which is like, and it's like, what's the difference, really? Not much. So one of them's got to go. And it's going to be the cot. Alright, chair. So I already have a chair, which is, here, okay, so let's go for the chair. Where's my chair? Where's my chair? He's right here. Is that the one? Yeah. Okay. So, file, new, don't save. I don't know why it asked me, like, do you want to save? But I didn't change anything, I swear. Alright. Get that centered. Nice and centered. And I'm going to change this. I did this file literally about a year ago. And I want these legs to be chunkier. Chunky is generally cute. Right? So, I'll make some chunky legs and that'll fit better with our chunky little guys. Yeah, that's just cuter. Alright, so there's our chair. Now that I think about it, will modders be able to add sounds? Yes, of course. Yeah, alright, I like that chair. Let's save it. And we are in simple wooden chair. So this is a simple wooden chair. And let's export it. Save. Okay. Now we need the icon. And I'm sure I got that. It's right there. Paste. Not a problem. Okay. And wow, something weird is going on with this guy. Like he's missing some voxels. Where'd your voxels go, man? Where'd they go? Huh. Actually, the whole thing is uneven there. Whoa, 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 whoa. What is up? This thing is just dysfunctional. It is bad. Let's fix it. Let's make this 2 voxels thick all the way through. I have a feeling that I'm going to need to recolor it too. And his legs are just too short. Too stubby. So funny, I grabbed that thing. I'm like, yeah, I already have the icon. But the icon is just kind of bad, so now I have to go fix everything. And these things are like way too, like, dainty. So let's thicken them up a little bit. Need some... Oh no! I'm running into space constraints. I'm gonna have to go on the outside. And that means that I'm starting to see why they were so thin before. Those aren't even, but that's okay, because this thing's going to be like that big on screen. and I don't want to make the share any thinner. So that's just gonna have to do. You're gonna have to be happy with that. I'm happy with that. Because you'll be able to distinguish it like, oh yeah, that looks like a chair. These are a little too dark. No, just don't mess with it anymore. It's okay. Alright, let's save this guy. Simple wooden chair, icon. You're probably wondering why we're not just scaling down the original meshes for the icons. And that is because the proportions change. This guy is even stubbier and fatter than the other one because we want the icons to be roughly a cube shape because of the way the carry animation works, or the way I guess the way the whole system works. You have a guy like reach down and pick this thing up, and he's hauling it around. And if it's like super frail, if it's not like chunky, like almost like a box, then it doesn't look quite right. So yeah, it's the same reason why you can't take like a giant, beautiful 48 by 48 transparent icon for your OS and like shrink it down to 16 by 16. It ends up just looking like a mass of pixels most of the time. So yeah, all right, how we doing? We got 7 minutes left, and then we got to get out of here. I'm gonna skip the spindle because that doesn't exist in the world yet. Skip the spool. Table for one. Yeah, let's do table for one and then get out of here. Actually, let me just like kind of. Let me show you guys something. Oh, no. Do I have table for one? I don't think I have it, and I don't have time to like model. Oh, there it is. Great. Okay, so this is like just a small like end table. Resize 20 by 20. Is that right? Yeah, that's fine. Let's optimize it there. So like if you like, this would be like a table for someone's like bedroom or something like that. Small little table. And then there's a bigger dining table for like a dining hall or whatever. Okay, so save this as table for one. Not export it. Man. Okay, now we need the icon. Let's see if I've got the icon. I got the icon for, oh, there it is. Great. And you can see, like, if you look at these, like, the icon is a little bit chunkier and simpler than the big one, right? So, just goes back to what I was saying. This one's actually too small. It needs to be bigger. If it stays like this, there's going to be a gap. There's going to be a gap between dude's hands and the edge of the table, which you'll be able to see if you look closely. Whoop. Yes, it will look crazy. So there, let's do that. And now that it's bigger, no, the legs look okay. Oh, it needs to be bigger in both dimensions. And now I do want to make the legs thicker. Boink. Swing it around. Right. Okay. Cute. Okay. Save this as table for one icon. Export. Okay, and now, oh, well that's too bad. See, you're never going to see the underside of this, but this just makes me feel icky, so let's fix it. Yeah, great. Save it. Export it. Export it. Table for one icon. Go, go, go. We're golden. Okay. I will just bring up this guy for you to gawk at. Hi, here's our Carpenter. Here's some table variants that we might include in the game, like kind of like inlays, and answer a couple questions and get out of here. And I might be back later on this evening after my call. We'll be able to adjust the GUI, make it larger. Oh, you got your T-shirt. Great. Thanks, Katishi. Glad you got that. Adjust the GUI? You mean like mod the GUI? Change the size of it? Zoom in? Beats me. You'll probably be able to change the size of the GUI. Definitely make it smaller if you want to like free up space. Make it bigger? Maybe. We'll think about it. I know what the GUI is, Katisha. I just didn't understand your question. Do you have any advice for someone who wants to make their own Kickstarter and make their own indie game? Yeah, so I have, I guess, an advice on making your own indie game and Kickstarter. My biggest piece of advice on making your own indie game is just like two pieces of advice. One is just like do it. Like when you're trying to make your first game, there's a ton of stuff that you don't know. Don't get discouraged that you don't know something, or when you get stuck, and you just have to like power through that. Like we went through over a year of that with Stonehearth. It's just problem after problem after problem, and eventually, keep working and keep focusing on putting things on the screen, and you'll get through that. And then get in touch, or get involved with indie communities on the internet, like TIG forums in like Reddit/r/GameDev. That's great to learn things, and also as therapy, because there are a bunch of other people who are going through the same thing you're going through. It's just good to connect. And for Kickstarters, the best piece of advice that I got on Kickstarters was that think of the Kickstarter as like the end of an outreach process, not the beginning. What that means is if you make a game and then you just say, hey, I'm going to kickstart, bam, and that's the first thing you do before anyone knows about your game, you're probably not going to do very well, because literally no one in the world knows about this game but you. And so what we did was, like 6 months or 8 months before we knew that we wanted to do a Kickstarter, we started our dev blog, and we started posting stuff, on these indie game development forums. And like when we were doing our dev blog, like I was updating that thing literally like a couple times a week, and we were getting 10 hits a day. I was literally just like talking into the abyss. Nobody was following our dev blog, and it takes some time. It takes like I think like 6 months to a year to build a following, unless like someone famous mentions your weblog or something. That didn't happen for us until we did the Kickstarter. But whatever. But because we had that head start, and because we had I think hundreds of people who knew about us just because we'd been posting stuff consistently, it gave us a real head start on our Kickstarter. We went starting from like no one knowing about the game in day one. Because remember, you only have 30 days is the traditional time for a Kickstarter, although you could make it for longer. Most people make it for 30 days. And if it takes like 10 of those days or 15 of those days for people to learn about you and just tell their friends, then you've lost like a big part of your time already. So yeah, that's it. And there's lots of advice about Kickstarters all over the internet, and I would just read everything you can about doing a Kickstarter. Just Google like Kickstarter advice. Yeah, okay, I gotta go because I have a call at 4. But I might be back in about a half an hour or an hour, or I might not, in which case, see you guys later.